transfer.
Oh yeah, let me do this. Okay.
Okay. Greetings. Welcome to Wake the Dead. Today, we are very happy to be here again with our good friends, William Ramsey and Hans Utter. William is our guest, and Hans is the host of the Resonant State. Welcome, Hans. Would you like to say hello before we introduce William?
Sure. I actually have a 45-page document I wrote up for the show intro. Man,
Sweet.
you were so brief. You didn't even do a paragraph.
Hey man, I'm just trying to make sure we hit all the
Eh,
points.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
these are who we're talking to,
So,
and hello, welcome. That's
no, dude, I'm just jealous. You
it.
have a
You should be,
great.
damn.
You're like a human AI.
Yeah, I'm like Hal. I won't make any mistakes. It's all your fault.
Yeah.
Even
So I.
though it was my fault for a long time, Sean's fault was the thing. But
So
anyway,
yeah. Before we dive in, it's great to be here. This has been a wonderful journey, especially because we connected with an actual event, right? Like not just like the mass shootings, we just recent mass shooting, right? That was in the news. Most of them are not in the news, which I've been highlighting, almost 800 in 2023. How many of those, do you even know any mass shootings in 2023? No. So here, we're not talking about body count, we're just talking about numbers. But essentially, this is the architecture of this infrastructure. And I was discussing in the pre show that all of us, anyone in the United States, continental Europe, I mean, unless, you're you've cast off the chains or just somehow had like a wonderful protected upbringing, all these chains are, there are things operating in our subconscious minds. So this has been deployed on a mass scale, but the modeling does not change. They're using the same things. They might put gloss on it, etc. Um, and so just mention one other thing before we dive in. I mentioned that the movie Man Finds Tape, which at a certain point I turned it off, but
hmm,
the beginning, the first two-thirds approximately of the film, what is interesting is it shows the exact hypnotic techniques being discussed in this document being deployed in real time in a small town environment. So you see the chloroform hypnosis technique, you see the group mass triggering, you see all of these, I mean, literally the chilling aspect of like you get chloroformed, you are not quite awake, you get hypnotized, you never know it happened because you're programmed to forget it ever happened. And you see how this works in a small environment. So I recommend it for at least until the stupid crap starts happening. And again, the one person speaking wisdom in the film turns out to be the perpetrator, which of course is that valencing. So I wrote this. I'm just going to read this and I'll get off. I just wrote this now. Here it is. Inside each of us is an essence, not your brain, neither your body nor your emotions. Essential arising, being within the radiant manifold of the world, is a golden flower. Do not remain as a slave to isolation and programming. Follow the thread of feeling penetrating the heart and receive the blessings of eternal sanctuary, waves upon waves, breath upon breath, light upon light. Find thy spirit's rest.
thank you. That was great. I like that.
Amen.
Okay, so we're talking about Manchurian Candidate. This is part 12, right?
Yeah.
William, welcome. Hello.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Great to be with you guys again. We had a half an hour talking in the pre-show. We've determined that next time we're just going to hit the live button at 6 because people can hear us talk shop, talk like all the kind of research we've done over the years and all this stuff, and how it really is kind of like a interlocking web. So this is part of it, just like Hans said at the intro. See this stuff, see this progression from Condon to McGowan to Estabrooks, to Hoover, to Erickson, who shows up. And then they're talking to other people, White from Harvard, and some of these other characters and people moving around. This is all back in 1930s. It's really incredible. And it leads all the way up to today. And so I'd like to share, kind of ties in with Hans's intro, that some of this stuff is exposed to us because we've talked about Robbins, I think, in at least the last one or the one before that. And so here's a clip of him from Shallow Hal. He's in a elevator.
Tony Robbins, right?
Tony Robbins. What did I say?
Well, you said his last name. I'm just
specifying. Okay. Tony Robbins, big guy. He had a Me Too moment too, which kind of Erickson seemed to have had a Me Too of the 30s or whatever it was with his switching from his wife to, his college assistant or something,
right,
20-year-old college assistant.
His subordinate, right?
Subordinate, right. Yeah, in more ways than one. Yeah. So this is it. This is actually, you can go to Tony Robbins's Wikipedia page. He says he's an Ericksonian psychologist. So this is like the progression of something we've seen in these formerly secretive, top secret documents to the present. So this is Robbins in the present using these techniques, and you'll see it. And you guys can comment on this, but he's definitely jonesing people's nervous system.
But just to remind everybody what Erickson, even the U.S. government said that Erickson was of very low character. Like, what did they say? He was immoral. Like, I forget the quote exactly.
The Larson guy, yeah. You can, let me see if I can find it.
But I mean, that's
comment. He's like, yeah, indicated that anyone associated with hypnosis has a dangerous tool and weapon at his command, and he is necessarily subjected to much rumor and gossip concerning violations of medical ethics and practices and of immoral actions.
Yeah,
and he got Me Too. And he's an Ericksonian.
You never heard of Larson.
Yeah, I want to mention this, whether it's a positive valencing of my, character or not. I went hardcore into Tony Robbins about, I don't know, many years ago, but I was way into this. Okay. I was like Tony Robbins. I got like, a number of books. I've got, I went through this stuff. Okay. I did the walk every day in every way. I'm feeling better and better. Yes. I also did when I was 18 years old, I did the whole Course in Miracles. I'm still unwinding this conditioning. Okay, these things pop up sometimes. They're embedded in subconscious. So when I say this, it's not in a bad way, but like, this, while there are techniques that can be employed, and that's why I wrote, which I'm going to, get a major publisher, but I wrote a number of self-help books, just because these things, A, they don't work, but B, you are being put into a program conditioning state, and you don't even know. With Ericksonian hypnosis, the important thing to understand is that you don't even know what the hypnotic command is. Okay, if you want something fun, we can listen to Bandler's, coke-fueled self-help things. You're a puma. You're riding, and he's playing this jazz stuff, like totally coked out, hanging out with a bunch of CIA dudes by his pool. And I listen to that stuff too. But you hear that stuff, you don't even know what the command sequence is. The command could be buried within a command. Right. So even on the surface, every gesture, every movement, every eye ratio, these are truly experts of extra, sensorial manipulation. And before you play it, William, I apologize if I'm hogging the show, but you understand that a lot of the modern, everyone says mindfulness. Oh, mindfulness. A lot of the meditation and mindfulness techniques are the exact same thing. You're going to find a big dead end, and you will, along the way, you'll feel like you're a god. You feel like I'm Tony Robbins. Right. But you're not. So go ahead and play it. Yep.
Yeah, this is like the real deal. This guy, I mean, the Me Too stuff that I researched briefly, like he had a serious issue. Like he had multiple women. There was a year-long BuzzFeed news investigation published in 2019. They had internal stuff. inappropriate advances, including groping during events, exposing himself to assistants, pursuing unwanted relationships, and making sexually charged comments. Going back, he was married in 2001.
He's
But,
not very good at making them forget what he had done to them. I
Yeah,
guess his
yeah,
serotonin
he didn't-
techniques kind of failed.
He didn't have the amnesia aspect
Right.
down yet. But, there's only so much you can do in a public environment. But this is what you can do. So he's going to show it to you. He's going to demonstrate it. And the Farrelly brothers who did this movie are showing it to you.
Hal Larson, I'm going to do you a great favor.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, this is how it'll work. From this moment on, whenever you meet someone in the future, you're only going to see what's inside them. So you respond to that, because that, my friend, is where the true beauty lies.
Okay, Tony, I think you're getting a little cabin fever. Don't worry
Well,
about
wait a
it.
second, hold a second. What if I told you by doing this, you could have the most beautiful women in the world and they'd want you?
Is this kind of like what you do in your seminars?
No, this is very special. This is just between you and me. All right, buddy, let's get up and I'll show you what to do.
Yeah.
Now, you got a pattern. You got a pattern of looking at women and judging them by the exterior. We can't talk about it. We got to break that pattern.
All right.
So I want you to ask you, has there been a time when you were, like, especially shallow, where you looked at a woman and just thought you were better than she was?
All
or-
the time.
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
Can you think of one specific time where you're really shallow?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I got one. I
Think
got
about that. You
Okay.
ready? Devils, come out!
What the hell are you doing, banana hands?
Just hang on. Remember I told you we got to jolt your nervous system,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Just intentionally jolting his nervous system with his thoughts. So those thoughts, he's trying to do it, and then he emulates this exorcism type thing.
It's not just talking about it. Now, here's what I want you to do. Just relax for a moment,
All right.
and I won't do that again.
I didn't mean the banana hands.
It's okay.
Okay.
Close your eyes.
All right.
Just relax, and I want you to imagine that you're on a beach.
Okay.
It's a warm day, and the sun is just starting to set. And you're looking in the eyes of a woman, and you're feeling her heart. You're seeing her soul. You're feeling her spirit. That's it. That's it. Excellent.
And then they just fade out. So he could be there with him forever. He's in a trance, right? Jack
Yeah.
Black is in a trance there.
And now he's in a locked room with this weird guy groping on him. He's like, "Oh, think about beautiful women.
Well,
Oh, go in
you
a
know,
trance."
And I'll say this, based on my short shrift, I will admittedly potentially weak external hypnosis. Based on there's word emphasis, you have word rise and fall, you have time spacing between words. So how you say it when you're on the beach and you feel really good, and then basically it was a gay thing. So he was basically the programming was like Jack Black, bend over, buddy.
That's probably what happened in the.
No,
after
Yeah,
went
well, they
black.
faded out. Yeah, who
No,
knows?
no, but I'm saying that
Just like in Lolita, like,
Okay.
oh, we have to imagine what happens next, right?
even on the surface, right? What you find. And so this stuff you can't go to the surface level. There's a hidden in band. It's like a meta language, right? Embedded. So, hello, how are you doing? It's a nice day. And so, I was feeling very emotional. And I felt so naked when I was there. So it's time to get over there. So I just said, time for you to get naked. That's the
Base-
embedded
yeah.
command because of the, so that's, I had someone who was a professor. I mean, like a professional external hypnosis. We're going on a walk and he's doing the same shit. And a lot of times it sounds, and this is where you find, again, I'll just bring this up. You find stuff where you start to kind of gray out for the meaning, right? It's like a little bit like you kind of space out when you're listening to it. That's when you're being programmed. That's
So-
when.
Okay, wait. Are you gonna keep going? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yep.
I thought you. Okay, so like South Park made fun of this. Like there was this episode where the dad wanted to make a musical, like a Broadway musical, and apparently all of the Andrew Lloyd Webber and all the other creators of musicals they're all bros, and they all program into the songs that the women want to give BJs to their husband, and that's like the only reason anybody ever goes to a Broadway musical, and like it was really funny. But then once they taught him the specific like technology of the words, he would go back into the theater and he would listen to the song, and it would just be like blow job, blah 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 jobs. Like it's silly, but it's like that's exactly what you're describing. Like the subtextual command is like layered in so that they don't even recognize that they're hearing what they're hearing, but the programming is going in, and then like on the way home, all the dudes get a blowjob, and that's why they pay for them that bring their wife to this. I mean, it's silly, but that everybody, I'm sure the listeners will see this episode of South Park. But I mean, that's just another, in reality today, we can see it reflected back in the mirror of the TV.
Well, that's the
Stuff's
window.
around, man. Just scratching the surface.
All right, William, what page are we on?
Oh, yeah.
I think we finished up at like 220. I think we did one. We talked about this whole Malay disease, Lata, and that's what so I'm at 220 on the PDF.
And by the way, that's a major reveal, the Malay disease, right? Because you have who working doing field research in that region of the world.
Margaret Mead and
Gregory Bateson.
And Bateson, yeah. Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah. So that is an example, and they're looking for the biogenic, right? Is there a chemical agent that's part of this? This again, and just to understand, everyone thinks hypnotherapy. We look up Erickson on the web. Oh, he's a great healer. He's so helpful. They're doing this for what? They're doing it for control. They admitted, right? Just to review a little bit, we have, Estabrook saying that we should be able to education.
Right.
It's not education. And this is typed. This is a thoughtful document. It's not a typo. Education means permanently program the entire population of America. He's stating that directly, and these are not idle words. These are things that are implemented and are deployed, and they are for power, control, etc.
Operational psychology, from speculative to operational. I have a show on that too. So,
and it's interesting that clip that we had with Tony Robbins, and he was doing the preacher thing, and the preachers have been doing mind control for since forever, and like I mean all the random American Christian sects and all their weird speaking in tongues and stuff, that these are applications of different forms of psychological manipulation that, I mean, it might not have been scientific, and it might not have been like what Estabrook is doing here, but it's the same idea of like he was doing, shocking the system and stuff. Why did he choose to do like demons come out? Like, why did he do that? Why didn't he do some other way to shock? Right? Because they're kind of telling you that this is the same thing that religions do, and it's the same kind of programming. And in the old days, when they had religion, they had it on lockdown. They were able to control people's minds this way. But now we're in this atheist world, and we have to have new priests with new guys in coats giving us new instructions, but it's the same
you
kind
shock
of
to the
technique.
system. Yeah.
Right.
You're going to die if you're going to kill grandma. You're going to kill grandma if you cough on her. You're going to die young if you don't get this DARPA juice.
Right. And everybody that wears the mask, you can all see that they have been grokked. Like, they've been beaten down to the point where they just like do what they're told because they're a Grockian clown now. You know what I mean? Well, like, if people would know that term from the earlier episodes.
Well, no, the other thing, though, that's very important is that what we should witness is that threshold states are also conditioned. So threshold states where you break the conditioning are conditioned. So he's saying demons come out. He's actually putting he's putting a demonic programming into the subject. So, but he's blocked that because now it's associated with your Hawaiian sunset, drinking pina coladas with your your lover or whatever. So you see that you have a pleasure pain. I don't want to lose this pleasure, and so these are subtle. And when you go to actual human experience, we get to these kind of thresholds. Very, very few people are gonna push through them ever. You can see most people, a lot of people, they get caught in thresholds and they're going to stay in that space. They're never going to get out of it. And these blocking routines are also very important because he's saying demons come out. He's putting his hand on the forehead, right? He's actually putting the demon inside when he says demons come out. And so if he tries to get an exorcism, not that Jack Black, he seems like a micro dude, or else Tony Robbins is like 8 feet tall, which he is.
Yeah.
But that being said, he is now a servo mechanism. A servo mechanism means an entity, much as a plankton or a protoplasm, that if you can insert certain directionalities, it'll just keep doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't even matter. And this is what I figured out this week is that, for example, I was mentioning that. I said, well, at least if you become a Satanist, there's some kind of payoff, right? There's like, if you become a feminist, oh, I'm free. You become a communist, workers' rights. If you know sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you get to be free. This current world, there's no payout. There's nothing. It's absolute servitude, torture.
Right. Just like the demon realms, like it's absolute servitude. Whatever. Yeah.
Who wants to read first? Where are we at?
I'll go. Are you
Yeah, let's
218?
Yeah, I'm just kind of skipping through some of the correspondence. Let's see. Kidnapping. Oh, there was a mass shooting today too at Brown, or yesterday.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
another
Wasn't
one.
there was another one, the thing with the Jewish people got shot up?
in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah, but the video seems very weird.
The Hanukkah beach shooting. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, and wasn't it Bondi Beach? Like, isn't that like
It's kind of like their nicest beach there. I think it's like their highest end beach.
But it seems like a dog whistle to the Trumpers, like, I don't know, like, I don't know why they chose that one, because they choose stuff on purpose. Like the Nashville shooter, like, chose the school that she shot up because she didn't want to shoot up her own school because there's a lot of black kids there, and she didn't want to seem like she was trying to hurt black people, so she went and hurt the white kids. So they have like an idea of like how it's going to play out in the end, and they aim at what they're, I don't know. That was just my first reaction when I heard the fucking, because like Bondi's one of them, that works for that whole shit.
Like a connection to Pam Bondi. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, and it seems like they, out of all the names of all the beaches in Australia, why that, like, and then it's like this anti-Semitism shit, and like, and then the homegrown terrorists in America are always like anti-Semite, neo-Nazi types. They always paint them that way, and so it just seems like a little too fishy for me. And then you look at the videos and like nobody's running. They like watch the shooter shoot at them and they just look. It's like, what? Dude, it's very creepy and weird. Like, I mean, AI, the whole world is AI now on the internet. Like, I can't trust any of that shit.
Let's go to 224. I think that's a good start.
Okay.
By the way, today's the anniversary of Sandy Hook. December.
Oh,
wow.
shit,
Oh, wow.
today?
Yep.
Wow.
And my birthday was December 11th. I'm just.
Well, happy birthday,
Happy
dude.
birthday.
That's great.
But-
you made it around the sun. That's great.
Yeah.
One more time.
Yep. Hey, man. And then the another assassination, Thomas Merton was killed December 10th. So these are important. Like, he was, like what, fan in a bathtub. But Sandy Hook, December 14th. I mean, this was the lead off to the mass shooting extravaganza thing. But there's okay.
Right.
We won't go into Sandy Hook. That's probably not
Yeah, we want to
outside the
keep our
purview.
keep
your
our
status.
YouTube channel.
I don't want to be sued for $50 billion yet.
Yeah,
I'm sued,
trillions.
but still have a mansion. Wow.
Right. Yeah. How'd that work out? And like, he's a real stooge for the bad guys now. But anyway, yeah. Okay. I'll read if you like. I like that comment. Yeah. Thumbs up. Hell yeah.
That's a nice one. The other one isn't so nice.
Oh, I
There it is.
appreciate you putting it good.
2 of you aren't high.
Hey, man, I'm smoking a spliff. This one's half tobacco. Come on. Anyway, so
Hey, happy birthday, Hans Saxon Ranger says.
awesome. Yeah, Hans deserves the good cheer. Happy birthday.
Hey, thank
Hans.
you, man. It's yep. Thank you so
All
much.
right, who wants to start?
Go ahead, Sean.
All
Let's
right,
get through this
I
thing.
think I'm high enough to read. Okay. All right. For dear Dr. Estabrooks, I am in receipt of your letter dated June 20, 1938, in which you advise of the experiments conducted by Dr. M.H. Erickson at the Eloise Hospital, Eloise, Michigan. It seems to me that Dr. Erickson is working in a very interesting and productive field. I am, of course, glad to hear of your work and that of your friends and associates. Thank you for calling this to my attention. I am sincerely yours.
Okay, well, I don't know which one you're on. Do you
I
see
was
the
at
one on the
I was
screen?
at 224. Okay, and then
Okay, my 224 is Colgate University from June 15th, 1938. So I don't know. We might have different documents.
15. I got June 20. Okay, it's 220. Okay. Yeah, June 15, 1938. That's what I okay,
Oh,
okay. That's 223. All right. I'm sorry, you guys.
I don't know
I
what
just
you're talking about.
I'll do it.
The one
I
that's on
guess
the
we can
screen,
blame it
bro.
on me being high. Just blame. Yeah, well, I'm reading my own documents so that I can see
Okay, cool.
with good clarity because like I'm getting 720 and it's through the internet. So, but anyway, dear Mr. Hoover, this commencement we gave an honorary degree to Dr. Manfred Sackel. It looks like an S.
Sequel, yeah, I think you're right.
Sackel. You may or may not recall that he is the originator of the famous insulin treatment of dementia precox. His book, Pharmacological Treatment Schizophrenia, published by the Nervous and Mental Disease Publishing Company, contains much excellent material on this treatment. Is that when they would shock people with insulin and make
I think
them?
so, yeah.
Okay, that's okay. That's like the beginning of drugging crazy people. They started with insulin, and before that, it was just making them puke. They would spin them in chairs and shit to make them puke. It's crazy what they did to people. It's really sad. Okay, moving on. My interest here, however, is in the fact that Dr. Richard H. Hutchings, Utica State Hospital, Utica, New York, and Dr. William W. Wright, Marcy State Hospital, Marcy, New York, both commented on the extraordinary suggestibility of the subject after the insulin treatment. I mentioned this fact to Dr. Sackel when he was on the campus. He immediately verified the report, saying that this insulin treatment undoubtedly does predispose the individual to hypnotism. As a matter of fact, 2 or 3 cases in the book which I have quoted bear out this contention. I am hoping that I will have the opportunity of verifying this claim. The work with insulin at Mercy and Utica has stopped for the summer, but I will be looking forward to an opportunity of testing this suggestibility in the fall. It seems to me a most interesting lead. Cordially yours, G.H. Estabrooks. So, yeah, insulin would cause people to go into a coma, basically. They couldn't move. And like, what is it doing to their brain? I wonder. Like,
Well, and look at the increase. Now, I can't find exact statistics, but increase in diabetes. Looking at 853 million people worldwide with
Right.
diabetes. Massive increase in diabetes. Insulin. You know how many? Yeah, I know multiple people. They have insulin drips. So,
wow. All the
and then,
time just going in? Like,
yeah.
wow.
And so, again, going back, which I will foreground again, that study of the Malay disease based on food, diet, chemical inputs.
Right.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Right. And then the whole blowfish thing with the voodoo people in the Caribbean, like making zombies out of people with the blowfish. Like I think we talked about that.
Yeah, the
Wow,
next
that's
one. Yeah, the next
Sorry.
one is a letter to Erickson.
Yeah, that's what I just read. That's the
Okay,
one I read
that's
a
the
minute
one
ago.
before. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
it. And then it goes on to Hoover, Esterbrook's again. It seems to me that this question of the use of insulin as a conditioner for hypnotism is very important. I've just received a reprint from Erickson at the Eloise State Hospital and enclose a copy of my answer. Erickson is one of those peculiar enthusiasts who loves to try anything new and has all the energy in the world. Frankly, mine is tied up too much in administrative work. So more kudos for Erickson and his ability to experiment.
The perfect psychopath for their tools.
And then this is another one between Erickson and Esterbrook's. Dear Erickson, I do wish to thank you for your reprint entitled, quote, The Hypnotic Induction of Hallucinatory Color Vision, followed by pseudo-negative after images. Wow, that's really incredible. So I think what he's saying there is that you induce fake colors and then the after images are fake too.
I've had that happen to me. Okay, so like when you look at, like when you're driving at night and you get the headlights in your eyes and then you move your eye and then you still see the light, it like burned in. So that can happen with anything, any image. Like when I was in jail boot camp when I was 20 years old, trying to get out of jail earlier, I was still having like withdrawal symptoms from all the drugs I was on, because I was taking like all these drugs that would get out of your system in 3 days because I was getting drug tested. And so I was taking like MDMA and like uppers and all that, whatever. And like I was having like visual, like lights would change color and like it would, and like a rain on my head would give me this weird like body thing. And so in boot camp we were made to like stare at the flag while we're like at attention, and like we had to like recite this Pledge of Allegiance. For God's sakes, I hate this shit. But anyway, I was there doing it because I wanted to get out of jail early. And so like you stare at the flag, and then you have to stare at the person in front of you, like the back of their head, because you got to stare forward. And the flag, the negative image of the flag's colors was there on the head of the like in my vision still, as if like it was burned in. So like the red and white would be kind of like cyan, and like it was weird how it like, but because of the whatever my brain was doing with the chemicals that were still in my system, it was creating like a negative effect of something that's not there. Like the flag was not on the dude's head, like the flag was up there on the wall, but it was like it like burned in because of the drug, whatever was still in there, like months later. I don't know if that's a weird story, I guess, guys. Sorry.
Anyway, by the way, here's I don't know. I mean, is that a pseudo negative after image? Is that what happened to you?
It seems to me like it's
is that what they're doing to you in freaking jail or whatever?
Well, no, they didn't do it. I did it to myself because I was
Mm.
taking drugs, like, but it was like the after effect, like just because I was staring and I was told to stare, and it like made me look at the colors for a long time. And then when I go and move my eyes, those colors are still there, burned in. And it's like the pseudo image. It's not really the flag. And it's an after image. It's like, that's when I read that, I was like, that's what that is.
This is what he's saying, that they can put these fake images in your brain. That's what's really scary.
Oh, they can make you think you saw Jesus or something?
Yeah, something. Yeah. I think that's what it means. I'd have to read the document. But by the way, here's a tip which may be of use to you. I pass it on for what it's worth because, frankly, I'm too busy to follow the lead. These blasted administrative jobs take plenty of time. We gave Dr. Manfred Sakel a degree here in June. I was particularly interested in him because of the fact that the superintendents of the Utica State and Mercy State claimed to notice a very high degree of suggestibility after the insulin treatment. As a matter of fact, the point rather than his straight insulin treatment led me to boost him for the degree here. It was simply a center of interest. I mentioned this matter to Sekel when he was on the campus. He states very definitely that this rise in suggestibility following the insulin shot is very definite. In fact, he quotes 2 or 3 cases in his book showing that the subject appears to be remarkably susceptible to hypnotism. I wonder if that means anything to you. Cordially yours, G.H. Estabrook. So they're talking about like the effect of insulin.
Let me interject here. So what's really important about that? So the after image thing, right? So that's an effect, right? You look at a bright light, like I look at the sun. I try to appreciate the sun.
Right.
It's real. Let's try.
Oh, you're one of those that believes in the sun, huh?
No.
Okay.
Objective connect direct nervous system experiences to objective reality. Clear input from nervous system signals. That's very important to every one of us right now. But anyways, so image after effects, you look at a bright light, take a picture, flash, you see an after image. What they're saying is they're inducing hypnotic images. These hypnotic images are actually affecting the visual cortex. So they're putting them into an altered reality. There's a natural, you look at a bright light, you turn your eyes, you're going to have an after image, right? It's just a natural effect of the eyes. No, they're not seeing anything. These are hypnotically induced images. This is the beginning of the pseudo reality effect that we're immersed in right now. It's I did not read that before you read that. That's why it's so important, because not only you have a hypnotic image, but yet your brain response is somehow it's actually happening to you on a neurophysiological level, not on a mental level. So it's I'll have to look into that.
Right. It's an experience at that point, right? Is what you're saying.
It's encoding your nervous system.
That's hardcore, man.
Yeah, wow. So this is September 14th, 1938. I was quite interested in your letter of September 7th, 38. I think this is from either Erickson or somebody at the FBI. Unfortunately, the Bureau has done nothing further in the study of hypnosis, and I'm unable to suggest anyone who could undertake the work at the Marcy State Hospital. Should you obtain further information at any later time concerning the application of the insulin work to hypnosis, I should be very glad to receive it. You may recall that during one of your visits to Washington, you discussed your search for a method of determining when the proper stage of hypnosis was reached in an individual. And at that time, I believe you were considering the possibilities of utilizing the galvanometer to measure a current passed through the body. I greatly appreciate being informed whether you were successful in this attempt or whether you were able to find any other criterion for determining the extent of the hypnotic state. With best wishes, I am sincerely yours. I think that's from Weaver. I don't know. And then Esther Brooks writes back, I'm beginning to be more and more convinced that some really serious work should be done on the insulin shock as a conditioner to hypnosis. I find that I could easily do this work at the Marcy State Hospital, which is within 35 minutes of here. But frankly, with college opening, it is too much of a strain. However, if you know of anyone who would feel like undertaking this work, I feel like it would be an easy matter for me to obtain an entrance for him there, Esther Brooks. And then Harold Nathan. I think Harold Nathan was the guy who was the head of their special department or their research department. Thank you for your letter, sending forth information concerning the psychogalvanic reflex and the Variac method for the determination of the depth of hypnosis. I'm very sorry to learn that your predictions concerning the value of the insulin treatment are not at present being realized. Should you receive subsequent information to the contrary, I should be glad to learn of it. So they're interested in everything that's going on. So much documents and so much going back and forth.
But that galvanometer can make it into a bunch of numbers for them so they can calculate everything. How do you really he looks suggestible, this can make it into a science for them,
Right.
Well, this is the whole fundamental matrix of, what we are living in potentially, right? The AI, I don't want to say lick my balls AI. I will not say that on air. I would never say that on air. But
Alexa, lick my phone.
Yeah.
but basically, you have the early research, we have the Tavistock Institute, you have other things. You want to create a quantifiable, definable human being. So, and William, when you see some documentation, I will send you at some point, you will connect with this. But basically, the whole idea is that a free functioning human being with the operational control of what? Will, attention, and freedom of action. Always have these, no matter what they are, right? No matter what's done to you, you always have. But the fact is that once you, with a person that's free and autonomous, you cannot put them in any of these numerological, Kabbalistic control matrices. But once you fracture a person in a certain way, you've created a subgroup. Then you create your population modeling. You know the vectors of input. You know the ideal state. You can create cybernetic loop states. You can create programming inputs, which may take effect. Again, look at COVID. To what extent did these programming matrices take effect over many, probably billions of people?
The new
And
normal.
people are still, how many outliers? People are dead. People are like, they have all kinds of diseases, and because I trust Bill Gates more than God. Bill Gates, you take charge of my DNA, and I can have a pencil dick like you. Oh, I didn't say that either.
No, Microsoft dick, like.
Yeah. But basically, this quantification. But once you create these types of fractal states, right? Once you create these inputs, then the populations are easily manageable on computational aggregate analyses, on grids, on vector steering mechanisms. This is the fundamental point that, again, at this early state, and you tie this in with Tavistock and Kurt Lewin, etc., that shows the importance, the actual seminal importance of this document, I think. So hopefully I'm not going too far, but it's very important to see that they're trying to mathematically model populations. You and Cameron talked about, these books are now totally gone. You cannot find them anywhere. You and Cameron talked about how music by insane musicians would produce a type of mass psychotic state among listeners. These are vector states. These are available to computational algorithms.
Wow. We got to do a show about that. Holy crap. I mean, just look at like Marilyn Manson and like Kylie Minogue, or like, all of them, like they're crazy people. Like, I mean, Britney Spears, like, holy crap. And then that music is like broadcast out. That'll be a good topic. That'd be a great show.
It's crazy. I mean, we've talked about Palantir and all that stuff. I mean, imagine like a Palantir interface where they're just guiding the thoughts of the mass people and grinding massive amounts of data and figuring out what people really think, and then adjusting it with bots or whatever, fake social media accounts, like really shaping people's minds. I mean, and possibly even causing like schismogenesis or whatever, like really crazy with music or whatever. I mean, some of these kids are driven crazy. Like they were driven into like massive amounts of anxiety in COVID. Like there was definitely an incredible psychological element of that. And they were ruthless in its application, really were.
And the AI girlfriends make the dude go and
off himself,
as a term we can use on YouTube. Yeah, like, I mean, it's really, and Hans was talking about in the previous shows about how the phone is like a piece of your body now, and people are so into that, and that what that phone does and how much data they get and how it leads our minds, and the doom scrolling and what it, that it's the perfect avenue for them to get into our heads, and we accept it to be a part of our body. We like, oh, I'm nervous. Where's my phone? Oh, I need my phone, or else I'll go crazy.
Well, just to say that like all of these mechanisms, right? Even whatever Tony Robbins is invoking, these are all wonderful, potentially things that we have as like the human consciousness. Again, how much can we, of all the sensory array, of all the data, how much can we actually experience? We have to focus our minds on certain things, etc. So, but even I play musical instruments. If you're a master carpenter, any physical occupation, once you leave a level of mastery, because I've studied this when I've done cognition research, whatever. In fact, I got a new book just came out, or a chapter. I can bring the hard copy. It's another Routledge, so I'm actually still a functioning academic kind of. But one of these things is that so the embodied cognition, if you have a hammer, right? You're hammering a nail. If you're a master carpenter, that hammer is fused into your body as an extension of your body. Okay? If you're an archer, if you're a football player, whatever, this is a wonderful potential tool. But when you have the cell phone, which is what? Here's a cell phone. What does this do? Wait, this little thing here, this black mirror, my scrying mirror, right? Let me look at my scrying mirror. Let me Baphomet's. Oh no, I'm just kidding. But anyways, so just think about that when it becomes a habitual part. You know what I mean? So, if you had to think about every single action you took, if you're, oh wait, this is a hammer, that no, you pick it up, it's extended. You're a golfer. The club is an extension of your body. It's embodied cognition, right? The somatic body. It's called body mapping. It's a somatic body, right? So we have our physical body, then we have our mental map of our body. This is what creates gender dysphoria. Your mental map, your physical, the actual objective body is not accessible to normal consciousness. But, we have our body map, make it accurate. But so what I'm trying to say is all these things are, taking potential gifts or just functional apparatus and hacking them. But then when you have your consciousness is now extended into an object that is now fused in your brain with your own body. So you pick it up habitually. You have no will. You are completely a robot. You're a servo mechanism. You're receiving programming. You follow the programming. The servo mechanism, if you program the robot to jump off the cliff, the robot's going to jump off the cliff. But when your internal consciousness is now programmed into an object, this is, I don't even know what it's going to do.
A programmable object. Wow. So that's the world we live in. Thanks for reminding us, Hans, because holy
I'll sleep well tonight.
Sleep with your phone off, okay?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. What page are you at?
I'm at 231.
231 means 2.
September 7. Well, my 231.
Yep. I hear you. I'm reading. September 17.
September 17th. Dear Mr. Hoover, I'm beginning to lose faith in humanity. Seiko, who instituted this blessed insulin treatment for dementia praecox, was quite certain that it predisposed towards hypnotism. However, he called my attention to 3 or 4 of his own cases. Now, I quote to you for the following, which I received just this morning from Erickson. Quote, I'm sorry I've neglected to answer your letter about hypnosis and insulin. Actually, however, we've had that in mind since we first began insulin therapy here, and repeated attempts have been made to induce hypnotic trances following insulin therapy and also following metrazole therapy. Unfortunately, our results to date have been negative, and I'm inclined to be most pessimistic about the entire thing. My belief is that the susceptibility to hypnosis depends not upon any changes affected by insulin, but upon the type and characteristics of the psychosis. Oh, nice.
Hmm.
I regard Mr. Erickson as being about the best we have, and if he reported negative results, my own bet is that results are negative. The use of the psychogalvanic reflex to determine depth of hypnosis can't be recommended. It is quite unreliable. For the first time, and provided the subject is being hypnotized quietly, not strong-armed into the state, it may have a certain value. Otherwise, no. The cure's change in resistance is, I'm now convinced, a change associated with sleep rather than hypnosis. In fact, I know so. I've discussed this matter with Professor Hole of Yale, and he was the first to put his fingers on the flaws in my argument. However, there is a very practical means of determining the depth of hypnotism. So far as you are concerned, unless I'm mistaken, you will be interested only in the depth of the trance with complete amnesis on awakening. I use the so-called variac to make sure the individual is hypnotized when necessary. This little piece of apparatus takes the current right off the electric light circuit and delivers it in any quality desired. I pass the current through the palm of the hand with contacts of saturating salt solution on blotting paper. I find that with these excellent contacts, the normal waking individual can take 10 volts. If you can stand 15, a subject in a hypnotic trance can easily take 60 without any visible effect, and I've used as much as 120. In either case, 60 or 120, the torture inflicted would be such that no ordinary human being could possibly stand it in the waking state. I should think that it would be pretty simple to hitch up such an arrangement, perhaps in connection with the lie detector or the psychogalvanic reflex, then simply as part of the technique offer inducing anesthesia in the hand, proceed to test it by this means. In my own opinion, and I know that Dr. Cutton agrees with me here, this trial by torture, so to speak, is the only effective test we have for hypnosis. Babinski years ago asserted that hypnotism could be faked, and no one could tell the difference. He comes pretty close to being correct, but I don't think anyone can fake anesthesia to 60 or 120 volts going through the palm of his hand with perfect contacts. If so, he is just plain good. I'm still convinced that hypnotism can be made to play a very useful part in the next war, and that the chap who uses it first is going to have a pretty serious advantage over the other fellow. However, we'll hope we just don't get into the war. Cordially yours, J.H. Burks.
Wow.
So this is before World War II.
Yeah.
But okay, just to call everybody's attention, what I just talked about, which I hadn't read that document. It's all fresh to me. Hand inducing electrical current in your hand, holding a
Right,
cell
the
phone.
phone. Yeah.
Friggin', I mean, you literally have a current skin charge galvanometer. How about your Fitbit?
Right. And all that info goes up to the cloud.
Psychogalvanometer.
Right.
And again, to understand, very important. Okay, you have deep hypnosis. Okay, another thing to point out, through torture. Right.
That's the only way is torture.
Torture, no limits, right? So you want to find the blanking out point of what? Will, agency, right? This is it. This is a battle for humanity. Again, we're not talking about abstract things. We're talking about everybody alive today and the potential future or fate of, this, our species, our existent biological life form with all of our wonderful gifts. The most important with, again, free will, freedom of action, freedom of attention. That's what we have. And
that's consciousness right there, those three. That's awakened consciousness is to act, to feel, and to think, like all those three things, right?
But consciousness, right? This is the thing that's very difficult for most people to understand, is our consciousness is a screenshot or a snapshot. Our unconscious is really taking care of most of our day-to-day activities. Because if it wasn't, you couldn't do anything at all. You couldn't even function. You'd be like, oh my God, I have a finger. Oh.
That's what I do half the day. When I'm too high. One thing, like going back to what you were saying about the Fitbit is the galvanometer, right? And then the phone gives them the inputs, and it also records what they're saying and where they are, like, and what they're listening to on their TV or their radio. So like the phone is recording and it's inputting and it's also tracking all of their biological information in time, like with what they're, like people are all weirded out, like, oh, I say this in front of Facebook and then I get these commercials trying to sell me that. And people are so wowed at that. But think about the potential of having the Fitbit with the phone, like what you were saying there. Holy crap, what they can do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, wow.
Well, no, I hopefully not getting too esoteric here, but this is again, as these things are really starting to come clear to me. So the present state, average present state of awakened consciousness, activity state, that which should be normally free and clear of all interference, is one of the most interfered with states that there is. Even this is where you have the mental programming taking place, and then what you have with the Fitbit, you have the psychobiometric response network, and then if you have actually ascertained within the particular, so one of they finally they went for broad social structures, with the psychological topology of Kurt Lewin, to family structures, right? So the family structure, in a sense, we live in an embodied family structure. So you go into that, boom, and then you see the particular traumatic imprint patterning. Oh, certain types of music input, certain types of media input, certain types of stressors, boom, 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 boom. Oh, and then let's add this, and it's the nudge effect. And this was done with, I think about 5-10 years ago, with just subtle search result nudge effects could change absolutely like who people were voting for. And these are totally subconscious. They're not, people are not even aware of these impacts. So just again, to understand, this is the architecture and the root matrix of everything we're seeing around us.
Right. Didn't Facebook do a test to see if they could make people depressed for like 2 weeks? They were feeding them negative shit and they were like, people were getting depressed about it. And like, I think that came out. I don't know. I'm sure that's real. William, do you remember that? Facebook doing tests?
I think so. I think they've done a lot of tests. They've been caught doing a lot of weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they were
I wouldn't
caught.
trust. I'm not on Facebook, dude.
Good for
it's
you.
A horror,
yeah, right.
It's a horror show. So is
Yeah,
Instagram.
they removed me when I was telling my friend not to take the shot. The next day I disappeared. Like, what? Huh?
No, they'll just memory hole anything that they don't like.
Right. Yeah.
Anything about the stolen well, I'm not.
Yeah,
I
don't
almost
say
said
that.
it. I almost said it. Wow.
The stolen
About
electrical
sketchy
socket
things,
from
yeah.
my
Sandy hoax.
Exactly.
Oh no.
The stolen 5-cent piece of gum that I had.
Right. Yeah.
And then also that horrible event that happened back in 2000 or whatever that was.
Well, just remember a 120-pound weakling carried 200 pounds of gear.
Yeah, he wasn't even 120 pounds.
school.
He was 95 at the most.
No, okay. But it was okay.
And then there those guys in the woods. Never mind. We're going off track.
No,
here.
that's part of our collective trauma landscape.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
like 9/11.
Yes.
So you create trauma triggers.
Right. To grok us all out, to make us all traumatized clowns.
And then you also create positive inflection triggers, right? So again, as many years ago, but I was doing the Tony Robbins stuff. Yeah, I feel great. Yeah. And what did it do for me? I won't F all.
Wow.
But it's still, I felt,
Oh, okay. It did nothing. I thought it gave you the idea.
No, I felt good. I felt good when I was doing it, but
okay.
It didn't. These do not create lasting transformations. The whole NLP technology, as available to the consumer, is a control grid technology.
Yes.
It doesn't go to the depth architecture. So the programming routines are hidden. And this is all based on primarily structural algorithmic programming routines. This is all algorithmics. It's all algorithmics. Okay.
Bro, they found Rob Reiner and his wife dead in Brentwood today.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's the guy who directed Spinal Tap and Princess Bride.
Yeah, the big guy.
Stab wounds.
Holy crap! Really?
Really?
Yeah,
Murder?
yeah, murder, yeah.
Wow. What was he gonna say? Oh my
I don't know. He was apparently like a really ferocious anti-Trump person.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't he anti-cigarettes? That South Park made fun of him too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wounds consistent with a knife. Yipes.
Jeez.
That's a very nice neighborhood.
Both
He's
of
in
them.
Brentwood. Yeah.
Wow.
Rest in peace, man. Princess Bride was great. Spinal Tap was great.
Oh wow, The Princess Bride. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's a classic. Yeah, that's nobody deserves that. Holy crap.
LAPD's robbery homicide division is still investigating, so
Wow.
it's being investigated as a robbery homicide.
Just like Hans was saying, here's some more trauma for
Yeah,
our
here's some more trauma.
psychosis. Like,
But
look.
also December 14th, right?
Oh right. Yeah,
the
the
dates.
date.
Check out. I advise everybody check out Wake the Dead show. I barely scratched the surface of this numerology and date stuff, but it is important.
Right, the occult. There was the Klepoth final stages, Kilifat,
Yep.
part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta
Yeah.
talk more about that.
Yeah,
But
it's a
yeah,
nice
they,
part of town. Jeez.
I wonder what December 14th is on the celestial calendar, like, because there's like the 12 days of Christmas and crap, and then and that's overlaying some other pagan stuff, and so like, what is the pagan significance of December 14th? I wonder, like, how many days before the 25th? It's okay, so 10 days before the 25th, 11th day. I wonder, it's like 11 days before the rebirth of the sun. I wonder if that has any significance. 11. Anyway, yeah, there's probably some occult thing to that date. That's why all that stuff lands on the 14th. You know what I mean? There's probably like a pre-existing scaffolding that they're hanging all these things on.
I don't know. Are they saying that he's? I mean, TMZ is reporting that he's dead.
TMZ's got the straight dope.
Usually, I mean, they're right there. They're literally TMZ.
Right. Yeah.
The 30-mile zone is literally starts where Reiner was living in Brentwood. Goes all the way down Sunset, all the way to downtown LA. That's what TMZ stands for.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, TMZ is the 30-mile zone is the 30 miles of sunset from the beach to downtown.
Oh.
That's like all Hollywood stuff. Oh. Sad. Okay. Anybody feel like reading?
Yeah, sure. Where are you at? 2:30?
Let's see where I'm at.
Can I read Sean? Or is that-
Yeah, dude, go ahead. You do it.
Dude,
You're better than me. I'm too high with my split.
I have 235. 235.
I'm not high, man.
That's where I'm at.
I got chastised by a listener. Stop the druggy talk. It's uninteresting. You seem like what do you call me? Like the unwashed masses.
Great. It's good
All
to be
right.
one of them instead of one of the elite assholes that are raping kids.
Yeah,
You know?
No, but no, whatever I'm saying, like I want again what we're talking about. This document has immense weight and
Yeah.
clarification of possibilities. Okay, so I'm September 30th, 1938. Is that correct?
Yeah, September
Okay.
30th. Jig
Okay.
Hoover.
Okay.
I wish to thank you.
Yes. I want to thank you too, William. Thank you.
All right, thank
Okay.
you. Thank you
I wish to
both.
thank
both.
you for the.
I made it 12
comments.
episodes, guys. Jeez.
Oh man, and we're still getting good comments. No matter how many people are saying that Hans is a drug using.
No, it was a drug user saying druggy.
Oh
Druggy
right,
talk.
like a pillow sitter. Like
Druggy
Yeah.
dialectics.
it's funny. Like Mark Passio talked about a long time ago. The Satanists that he would go to the like mastermind, whatever, wear the robes and stuff, and they would chant together. Like these people would tell him about what they're planning on doing with the new age and what they're doing with the consciousness of humanity with the new age, and how it's like this whole thing that they were so excited about, how they were doing this manipulation with the whole pillow sitting, cul-de-sac of like, just yeah, it's really interesting when you hear him talk about it. We should have him on and ask him questions.
Well, you brought that up, like, I won't go. Yeah, this stuff I'll bring out later, but so actual like meditation practice, technically, it is the most unpleasant. I mean, you have to have direct, clear, immediate awareness to everything that's happening while having your physical body completely stabilized, relaxed with full attentional apparatus. How many people meditate that way? How many people even know how to do that? If you go into that and you go into a hypnotic daydream command state, and you can go on into vast fields of delusion. So this is a big
Wow.
thing to be aware of, and it's I mean, and then the worst thing is that you're living in a false reality. Okay, I'll use a Marxian term. You're living in a false consciousness, and then you create this escape. Oh, I realize. Oh, I'm conditioned and controlled. So I have my escape. I'm going to sit and do meditation. When you're meditating, what you're doing is you're not actually present with your senses and mind and body. You're going off into a daydream, and then a daydream, and then daydream on top of daydream. So what you're doing is, within your conditioned state, you have a little escape route. It's like, you think of a movie. You're in the ball. You go, oh, I'm here, I'm free. No, it's like The Trial by Franz Kafka. This is the reality. It's not the reality. Okay, read. Okay, I wish to thank you for the copy of your address, Soldiers in Peacetime. It is always a pleasure to receive these and to read them through. I have a beautiful setup in Concord, New Hampshire, for doing a little hypnotic work on the criminal. Footnote, side note, criminal is everybody except for the elites. Okay.
The rat.
Unless you're part of the ruling global governance matrix, you are a criminal, essentially, unless you're a slave, either criminal or a slave. Okay. Mr. R.T. Smith, State Director of Probation, is a very close friend of mine and is anxious for me to carry on some work. On the other hand, it is pretty much impossible for me to leave Colgate for any length of time. Should you have anyone who you would feel would fit into such a picture, I know that Smith would give him full cooperation. Furthermore, through Smith, he could easily make touch with the penitentiary, as I already have done. Okay, footnote, make touch. What does that mean? It means that you're actually hypnotizing prisoners. Again,
Right.
we can do a little.
Concord is that's a big one. That's a federal prison, I think.
Yep. So we can read between the lines just a little bit, is that what they're saying in this official documentation and actual stuff they're doing, we can at least multiply that by some factor. Okay. Insulin and metrazole. Metrazole. You guys know what that is?
I think they said that earlier, Metrazole.
I don't know what that is. Let me look it up.
Thank you.
Metrazole. Phenyletrazole, a drug historically used as a circulatory and respiratory stimulant.
Huh.
It was also employed experimentally in the 1930s to induce convulsions for the treatment of mental illnesses, particularly through a method known as convulsive therapy. Lovely.
Huh.
Sounds great. I love that.
So
hey, they replaced it with electroconvulsive therapy in 1939. So they stepped up.
What a great therapy.
Yeah.
So were they trying to get rid of the tremors? Was it like a drug to stop the tremors that are the side effect of the other drugs they give, the antipsychotic or the,
I don't know.
I forget what the like trazodone. And I was talking to Jerry Barzinski about psychology, and he was talking all about this we went to through the history, starting from insulin, shock therapy to what they use now, like Haldol. That's the one of the ones, and psychotropics. And if they're meant to be only used for a short period of time, but the doctors just leave people on them, and so it messes up their nervous system, so they can't, like, you see people that have been in the home for a long time, they shake like crazy, like, and they can't control their muscles, so they give them these other drugs to, like, reduce the side effect, and both of them are destroying the brain from both angles. You know what I mean? So it just covers up the side effects of the other ones, so you don't realize how much damage you're getting from the first ones. It's very it's a lot to look into. People should really look into those. And really, the core of the show was understanding that what they were doing was damaging the brain in order to make them not act out anymore, to control somebody that acts out too much. And in the beginning, they would put them in a chair and spin them around till they puke. And then once they're pukey, then they're not like yelling and clawing at the walls and doing whatever else crazy people do. And this is just controlling the body through medication, and it's just gone. So, like, they have to come up with these new drugs to, like, cover up the old drugs. And if it's like a stimulant that works to do those, I wonder if it was one of the many that Jerry Marzinski was speaking about on my show, Wake the Dead. We talked to him many times. He's great. You should. I mean, I think you've had him on, William.
No, I've never talked to that. I've heard of that guy, but I've never talked to him.
Man, well, I'll give you his email. He's great.
Yeah, he's going to be my first guest. Or first other guest. Yeah, I'm just getting going, man.
I'm a guest, man.
Sean was a guest.
Yeah.
I got,
Anyway.
I hit, like when I hit triple digits, man, I got the bottle of champagne. I got my Rolls Royce.
Nice.
I did not, but virtually I did. But, no, the thing that people should understand is the lack of we've lost our clear perceptions of reality. So many things that are simply, the endocrinal system is central to everything. Everything is going off the endocrinal system, and things are psychologized. Like depression, well, there's like an endocrinal imbalance. Take these supplements, do this, that, you're fine. No, we're going to give you Prozac.
Right.
But
Fluoride.
the induction of these things, I mean, and again, so I just, just again, this is going back into 100 years ago, basically. 100 years ago, back in the depth of time before
Bedlam. Right.
When, you look at science fiction stories written in 1920, they're talking about by 1970, we have colonies on Mars. We're still driving friggin' internal industrial engines, combustion engines. Right. Where is the technology? We've been frozen in technological time. When you look at the introduction of all the motion picture stuff, visual input, you have certain, crystallizations of these. A great personal computer, was an extension of the typewriter with database access. But the technology is, we're in 2020. We're going to be in 2026. Where's our friggin' Mars colonies? How much different is my lifestyle besides the fact that I can doom scroll and I can fall in love with an AI chatbot, become a total psychopath, and fucking.
Well, that's the
out.
technology, man. That's what technology shifted into mind control. Like, that's the best. Like,
but where's the real technos? It's in terms of. It you know what I mean? Like, literally, you look at 1950 and now, how much technologically are we different besides we have some screens we can retrieve information from?
Well, what William was talking about before the show started, the pillar of fire bomb that they put onto Yemen. I mean, that's the new technology they got these days,
Well, of course, the military technology,
right,
has been around. And even technology, let me just throw this out there in case people aren't aware, they have a law now in Colorado against external thought manipulation through technology.
Really?
So yeah,
How do they make
because-
a law about that? That's crazy.
because shit, my camera went down. Okay,
No,
but-
it's working. It's working.
all right. I
So how do they make a law against?
because they can do direct thought implementation through through like gaming headsets, including also other vector and field wave technology. So this
Are they going to
techno-
put the government in jail? I mean, it's
no, I mean, but you have voice to skull technology going
Right.
back to the 50s,
yeah,
right? So, but how is that distinct? You talk about Marzinski from demonic influence. A
Right.
voice in my head tells me to do something. The
Right.
voice in my head is telling me to do a lap dance. I don't have any customers. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But
But the voice in your head, that's what Jerry talks about. That's his other topic that he talks about at great detail is the demon puts the voice in your head. You think it's your own voice. And it
But-
takes
but-
over your internal dialogue or
but
monologue.
that's where, and I'm going to do another show on this. That's where you have to find the ground of the will. The will is the will can supersede any function of the physical body and any function of the mind or thought consciousness.
That's why Crowley loved it so much because like the key, like yeah.
And Hitler. Don't forget Hitler. Here's the pillar of firebomb. Tell me this is a normal bomb. Watch this. You should have audio.
Whoa. Yeah, and it keeps exploding. It's like it's getting hotter.
Look at the bomb. Look at the bottom. It's just continually burning. It didn't
Yeah.
explode like a normal bomb.
That's like a
So-
that's like a demonic bomb. Dude.
Yeah, no, it's still burning.
You
like
see
it's
fucking
something.
demons in that. Oh my
They
god.
call it a cluster bomb. It's
Oh my
not a
God,
cluster
look at
bomb,
that.
dude.
It's literally
gotta-
a demonic bomb.
It's got to have like a chemical reaction.
It has something is going on. That's not normal. It's like a superheated like flame bomb or
And
something.
they can just say it's cluster bomb, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh yeah, whatever." That's a
No, I
cluster
think
bomb.
it's some entity brought through the CERN thing. Yeah. So seriously, it's like a demonic entity, dude. Look
Is
at that.
it-
Look
I
at the
mean-
ground. It's still burning on the
It- that-
ground,
that-
guys.
Right.
That's not
It's
even a
very
weapon.
strange, yeah.
Yeah, it's not an explosion.
Yeah, it's
No.
not an explosion. Man.
combustion.
That's high tech stuff right there, kids.
I mean, no, but it's
Yeah,
just
dude.
like I'm just saying.
The high tech that we were talking about, some high tech that making a neck explode without a bullet.
Exactly.
We were talking about that before the show. Next time we're going to record. We'll record that. Anyway. Sorry. Were you saying something, Hans?
I was just gonna continue reading, but please.
Yeah, let's try to get through this, guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're
okay.
almost off.
Should you have anyone who would fit into such a picture? Okay, I read that already. Insulin and metrazole may be of no particular use as conditioners to hypnotism, but they're certainly revolutionizing the treatment for dementia precox. I was just glancing over an article by a German psychiatrist saying that 40 out of 40 cases of dementia precox, 31 had remissions. In other words, were discharged as cured. Of course, the permanency of those cures can in no way be guaranteed. When considering
Right.
that dementia precox is always rated as incurable, this is certainly making a big road into the field. Footnote: they want to cause dementia precox. These are not. This is a military dialogue. They're not trying to heal people. Okay, continuing. Dear Dr. Osterbrooks, I want to thank you for your letter of November 13th, 1938, setting out some detailed suggested procedure for experimentation in the application of hypnosis to criminal interrogation problems. Theoretically, these suggestions seem to have some merit. As you know, at present, the Bureau is not conducting any experimentation in this field, has not been able to do so for some time past. This is a mea culpa, right? This is documented. Oh, we didn't do it. Okay. I'm taking the liberty of filing the data which you submitted so they may be readily available, blah, blah, blah. With regard, okay, I'll skip ahead. This is the money shot. I'll go to the last one. that I'll read. November 12th, 1938. Dear Mr. Hoover, I would like to submit the following rather specific technique which might be of use in this matter of crime detection. Not, okay, footnote, crime detection. Pre-crime.
Pre-crime. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. It seems to me that with the lie detector, you have an almost perfect setup with which to run a disguise technique in hypnosis. Perhaps you will pardon me if I outline the procedure step by step. Okay. So, just
Wow.
again to mention, and I mentioned that film, Man Finds Tape, the idea of disguised hypnosis. You go to the doctor, you get hypnotized. You go somewhere, you get hypnotized. You don't even know because they make you forget it. Okay.
Yeah, my father went to get hypnotized to quit smoking cigarettes, and he told me, I was asking him, "What is it like?" And he said that he couldn't tell, and they told him to look at the clock or look at his watch, and then when they were done, they said, "Look at your watch again," and it was like an hour later, and it felt like nothing happened. And it like didn't really work, but I mean, that's his experience. He did not remember any of it. It just like time just skipped an hour, and it's crazy.
No, I had an experience with somebody, I won't mention the name or whatever, therapy, but it was like where I went and just sit down, lie down in this posture, and it seemed like it was 15 minutes. It was 4 hours, and it's like the time was gone. And this
What did they do to you?
no, I'm serious.
Just
Like,
kidding. I'm kidding.
no.
Yeah, I
The
know.
one thing is though, absolutely no fear, right? Okay, you must absolutely have a ground without fear. Anyways, continuing. This is very important. Okay, number one. The first move, it seems to me, would be to keep the suspect without sleep for about 24 hours. This should be pretty simple by any one of the various methods. Then it seems to me, that he should be put on a lie detector with one of your own men leading a question. 3, the next step would be the arrival of Dr. X, the authority on lie detectors. He could stage an indignation scene over the way in which your man was misusing his pet device, could throw him out of the room, so to speak, and have the field to himself. Number 4,
Wow.
his approach could then be somewhat as follows. After taking the patient's pulse and blood pressure, he would call off all further work on the lie detector, could tell the patient that he was obviously upset, that his real need at the present moment was sleep. If the proper setup had been arranged previously, namely a couch in the room or perhaps a couch on which the patient is already lying, he could proceed. He could impress on the subject the idea that all he wished to do was to go to sleep and that he wished to check up on his blood pressure as he went. Then it seems to me it would be very simple for him, simply by encouraging the patient to relax and to go to sleep, at the same time keeping in touch with the patient by asking completely non-committal questions to hypnotize his subject. Let me emphasize that. This is a key component.
So they accept it, right?
Non-committal questions that have embedded hypnotic commands. Okay, watch this. You'll find this a lot. Okay. Anyways, hypnotize subject just as effectively as if he had a regular subject. I have already demonstrated for you this technique of inducing hypnosis by talking sleep. I should think that the suspect had been awake 24 hours. This might catch him completely off guard. After all, he would probably need the sleep, and there, at least in his own opinion, would be safe from further questioning. This technique seems to me to be perfectly safe. We know that 1 in every 5 will go into somnambulism, and there'll be no known technique of influencing the other 4 to these deep states out of With such a technique, your good hypnotist could easily pick out a susceptible subject, put him into the very deepest trance. On the other hand, should the suspect not be a good hypnotic subject, no one would be the wiser and no harm would be done. 5. Should the
Wow.
subject prove to be a really good one, then it seems to me the next 24 hours would be spent in consolidating the control. Consolidating the control. So, one more time, consolidating the control. A. By means of post-hypnotic suggestion, it should be impressed on the subject that on a certain signal, he would immediately pass into a deep sleep. This is essential to quick, rapid control. Again, watch the movie I mentioned. B. It should be further impressed on him that after each brief seance, interesting choice of words, right? Seance.
Right.
He should have no recollection whatsoever of having gone to sleep. C. It should be further impressed that no one could possibly put the subject to sleep without the specific consent of the operator in question. Only after the subject was thoroughly trained in this technique, it seems to me, would it be safe to start direct questioning. Incidentally, before embarking on this latest phase, it would be possible to make quite certain the subject was really hypnotized and not staging an act by out of the variants, which I've already mentioned. This, you recall, is a pain technique using electricity in quantities within which the ordinary individual could not withstand. I'm just going to, I'll be right back. Go ahead. You want to take over?
That's I just wanted to mention that in that new movie Nosferatu, Willem Dafoe is like this, occult practitioner trying to save this woman who is she's under some somnambulism by the demon that has taken over her, right? And he, in order to prove to the people around him that she's under a trance, he like takes this long hat pin and shoves it right through her wrist.
Right. That's the known thing. That's what William Joseph Bryan did. He would stick
Yeah.
pins in people to make sure that they were on a hypnotic state. He would literally kind of like go all the way through. This is
Oh,
important too. It should be further impressed that no one could possibly put the subject to sleep without the specific intent of the operator in question. So it's total control over the hypnotic subject, so that the hypnotic subject will not divulge what he did, only under the control of that one person. This is important theme, which we'll see in the future. Very, very important.
and that's like the controller of the Manchurian Candidate there. His mother was the only one that had the keys to his head, right? Like no one else was
Like they were
controlling him.
right. They were trying to do it. That's what Sinatra was trying to figure it out, right?
Mhm.
He was trying to use those Queen of Diamonds to try to get into it.
Right.
Get
And then,
into
like-
Raymond Shaw's head, yeah.
Like the maiden, his love interest would like show up at his door, and she would have a big Queen of Diamonds like on her
Yep.
shirt and shit. Like, I mean, it was those triggers were implanted by the mother, and she's the only one that holds the keys to him, I guess. And that makes sense. Like no one else can put no one else can put this guy to sleep except for
Right.
the main guy.
Right. So I'll just continue to read. Let's
If
see.
you like, I could.
6. From here on, it would seem to me that you would have to be guided pretty well by the reactions of the subject. But I think there's one pretty obvious attack. The hypnotic subject loves a show and has an excellent memory for the best events and always glad to display it without touching on the actual crime and so arousing any latent powers of resistance. A great deal of information might be picked up about the criminal and his associates simply by having him stage a memory exhibition as to where he was and what he was doing last July 4th, last Washington's birthday, or last Christmas Day. I can assure you that this disguise technique for inducing hypnotism will work and is very effective. I've tried it with various fronts and had good results with good subjects, and have been able to remove all knowledge of ever having been hypnotized. On the other hand, we must not overlook the fact that only 1 in 5 is susceptible to the deeper stages of hypnotism, and it would be pretty difficult to pick that man in advance without arousing his suspicions. On the other hand, I think it could be done, but that is another story, George Hoban Estabrooks.
They can do it now with the phone. They can test all of us and our
think so.
hypnotizability, and they can
Yeah.
tell like where we are at all times and what our name is and what our bank account has.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating is talking about the phone we're gonna have. I mean, you're getting frequency charge, right? I mean, who knows what level of electromagnetic stuff can be, you know, there it goes, transmittable through the hand. Um, but I mean, I really like that they admit that. Well, if they don't normally, we'll just electroshock them. We're just gonna torture them. Just roll on, man. It's
Right.
like, it's
Because the
torture.
torture goes into the core of their brain and their self. Like the other stuff is just like manipulation, kind of iffy, doesn't really work. But the trauma is the real mechanism to get to the core self of the person and to break that self sometimes and to manipulate the self. The trauma is the only real thing that works in the way that our heads are built, I think. I mean, all this other stuff, like Tony Robbins is like window dressing. You know what I mean? If Tony Robbins was like working for the Spanish Inquisition, like then he'd probably be more effective.
But he's influenced millions of people. You know.
I get that. But
You know.
anyway, but
I
if
mean,
one thing doesn't work, the trauma definitely will, because that's how like the liminal brain is further up than the fight or flight reptile brain that the trauma affects. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Will Will is above the brain. Will is beyond the brain. Will is beyond the body. These are things. This is where you get to the next level, which I'm just inputting this into the stream because these other things are divine attributes that we have potential access to that they cannot why they're spending so much time.
Right.
I mean, and I have to say this, I'll throw this out. It may be speculative, it may be nonsense, it may be truth. I think even what we're doing, we're unwinding things. You can see many things that have not unfolded according to plan, right? Right? Things are starting to fail. Things are starting to fall back. So
Right.
we push back.
They can't. I mean, they wanted to be a lot further with this digital ID stuff after the COVID. They thought COVID was just going to shove the digital ID right down everybody, and now like they're in Britain, they're like, you can't work unless you have a digital ID, and they're out in the streets protesting. Like they can't, even for their jobs, they won't. And like that, God bless them, because their job is slavery too. Like I'm glad people are waking up. It's like it's slowly happening, I think. At least we're putting cogs in their gears, you know what I mean? This
Yeah.
conversation too,
Yeah,
like
that's
all
right.
of our work together, like it's we're throwing wrenches in the cogs of their machinery.
Spanner in the work, so to speak. I'm on 241. I passed over some of the correspondence. Dear Mr. Hoover, I've just unearthed another reference in German by Wen Dickinson entitled Criminal Acts Under Hypnotic Influence. I may say that he puts his fingers, I think, on a rather important point when he mentions the exaltation of memory and hypnotism as being of the greatest importance. You will find further reference to this article in Psychological Abstracts, 1935. By the way, in one of the previous references I gave you, you will note that the author refers to lack of osculation in the extended arm as a criterion of hypnotism. This is one of the old criteria used by Charcot back in the 1880s and has pretty well been discarded. As a matter of fact, I'm quite certain is of no use. George Hoban Esterbrookes.
Was that the arm trick he was making his wife do?
Yeah, that's what Erickson was doing.
Right. But notice the name Criminal Acts Under Hypnotic Influence.
Right.
I mean, if you think about like what Dave McGowan was writing about and what
Yeah.
were all those people, like what is Manchurian Candidate? What was he doing? He was shooting a person under hypnotic influence.
Right.
I mean, that's the
Criminal
goal,
act.
is to
Yeah.
make people do criminal acts.
Programmed to kill.
Yes.
Yeah, and not to be a negative, what do you call it?
Nancy?
Negative naysayer. But
Okay.
the fact is that every one of us, okay, whether or not it may not affect you, but if you start to notice this stuff and unwind it, triggers, even subconscious, even mild hypnotic nudging triggers. I guarantee you, anybody in the United States or Western Europe has a whole series of these programming triggers, or to a certain extent. They may not be that operational. Most people will never go beyond the normal threshold experience, but at the same time, again, anything artificial, illusory can be dispelled, but we have to know the mechanisms and we have to see the level of advancement they're doing back in the 30s. No one heard of, there was no CIA. Just to remind everybody, the CIA did not exist. MK Ultra did not exist. And this is a very systematic study.
Yeah, it sure is. And there's another one. Mr. Hoover, November 23rd, 1938. We should thank you for a copy of your address entitled Lawlessness, a National Menace. I've run across a couple more titles which I think might possibly be of interest to your department. One, Duke in German, entitled Hypnotic Experiments in Handwriting. It's fairly difficult to get an idea of these articles from the abstracts, but it looks to me as if it might be of interest on the question of forgery. This particular article is abstracted in psychological abstracts. And then he talks about Moreno in Spanish coming from Buenos Aires, entitled Judicial Questioning and Hypnosis. He mentions there is a test for hypnotism, namely the absence of osculation of the extended arm, which he uses as a criterion for the simulated hypnotic condition. Frankly, it is the first time I have ever heard of it, and I'm very much inclined to doubt its validity. But I thought they just talked about that. I thought Erickson was doing
Right.
that. Maybe
But
he didn't read that one.
Why don't they just do the hand buzzer thing with the the water solution and like the electricity through their hand, like what Erickson was talking about? I mean, that's because that's the trauma that they need, like 120 volts or whatever. You know. Okay.
This is the next one.
Do you want me to read the
If
next
you
one?
want, this is one. There's like an article. Somebody's trying to get information. This is Clyde Tolson, assistant to the director, but it's some article they're trying. This is it. Scientific American is trying to publish an article about Estabrooks, and they're asking the FBI for information. This is January 1939. Do you guys want to read this or pass over?
I mean, I'll read it if you like.
Okay, go ahead.
In Mr. Hoover's absence from Washington, I wish to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated January 18, 1939, with reference to the article which Professor G.H. Estabrooks, psychologist of Colgate University, has submitted to you dealing with hypnotism and crime. Of course, we of the FBI have endeavored to keep abreast with all new developments in the field of criminology, and while we have studied practically everything that has come out of this field, nevertheless, we are unable to subscribe to some of the theories which have been advanced. Frankly, I feel that I would not be in a position to advise you as to the accuracy and suitability of publishing. Don't publish Professor Estabrooks's article. If you desire, however, I am sure that Mr. Hoover would be very happy indeed to have the article reviewed in the Bureau, after which the Bureau would be in a better position to advise you in the premises, although it is entirely possible that we would not be able to comment upon the article one way or another. With best wishes and kind regards. So that's related to the occulting of this information. The spotlight of the media was getting too close, and everything has to be reviewed by the government before they print, if it's regarding the government. Just like how in Hollywood they have a whole team of people like working with the people in the movies, and like everything has to be approved, and the final edit goes to the government when there's Black Hawk helicopters in your movie, Anyway, that's what's happening here. This is the occultation. Am I right? I mean, I don't know. Are you guys there? Okay.
Absolutely. So
I'm muted. I'm talking to myself. Sorry.
okay.
Oh, great. That's what they want to hear, William.
Yeah, that was
Just
that
talk
was
to
the
yourself.
effort.
You know, you can be in your bodysuit, like Jerry says back in 1992. You can be in your friggin' little microcubicle, you
With your
know,
VR headset.
social control grid, you know, living with your friggin', you know, your
Needle of heroin.
synthetic meat drip, and then you can play guitar like Jerry, and
Nice.
you can make your own language in your own head. Oh, that's great.
Terry Gilliam made a great movie, Zero Theorem, with an AI
Yeah.
world where they
Yeah.
go into this, like, and they have a bodysuit, and it's really neat. It's a really good rendition of what you're saying.
Yeah. Um, you know what? I think the next one we can skip that, but the next page 251, February 6th. This is quite interesting.
Well, let me read this one because I think
Go
it's
ahead.
interesting because
Okay.
they say we are looking around for someone capable of offering us advice with regard to the acceptance and publication of this article that Estabrook mentions Hoover. Since you're named in it, we'd like to ask you whether you'd be willing to advise us about its accuracy, suitability, and so on. Would you be willing to read the article? And then he says, simply, the thing is so new to us and strikes us as so astonishing that it probably would our readers, that we are a bit afraid, though perhaps without justification, that there is some catch in it. But if it is sound, we want to publish it since it makes good reading. We know Estabrook personally and like him, but we also know that many a good professor has his enthusiasm. So they don't even believe some of this research. And that's from the Scientific American. Yeah.
Would you at that time? I mean,
No. So they're astonished. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? And Estabrook is like, I don't have a problem talking about this, but because he doesn't care.
He's proud.
Yeah,
He has no morals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hoover's always like Hoover, for people who don't know, he always had this kind of very clean cut image of the FBI from the very beginning. They were always above the law, and he was always concerned about G-Man and publicity, and they supported films and things that get positive views of the FBI, and it just was constant. Yeah, so I think he was there. You could see that super sensitivity reflected in this document. You guys want to read the next one? What's the other one?
Well, you have to understand though too, though. I mean, we have the birth of public relations, right?
Yeah. Right.
And how about women smoking?
Bernays.
Right? Bernays. This is the era of Bernays, propaganda in the public mind, and so that should be seen as a subtext to this new science of media creation. Example, you mentioned G-Man, hypnotic trigger, FBI is good, right? You create like to use an NLP term, a chunking effect, where large arrays of data are put under one label, right? Think about that. So chunking, again, these are all great techniques for memorizing a lot of material, but when you aggregate something, every police officer is my friend, or all police are my friend, or all FBI are my friend, or that, you know what I mean? So you create these big glosses over lots of material. So this is where, to me, it gets quite interesting, though.
Dude, they're saying Reiners were killed by their son. People.
Holy shit.
That is freaking dark, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Rob Reiner's wife, Michelle Reiner, were found after first responders were called to Brentwood home at 3:30 p.m. Exclusive sources. Multiple sources confirmed to People. Oh. Nick Reiner.
I just wanted to bring up I'm sorry, but just before we go off of that Bernays thing, I wanted to give people the quote from his book Propaganda. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. Vast numbers of human beings must cooperate in this manner if they are to live together as a smoothly functioning society. In almost every act of our daily lives, whether in the sphere of politics or business, in our social conduct or our ethical thinking, we are dominated by the relatively small number of persons who understand the mental processes and social patterns of the masses. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind. Edward Bernays, Propaganda.
Well, that has a lot, looking at this document.
Right? This document.
The resonance,
exactly.
It seems like some kind of pronouncement. But this, so I'll go to this one right here to me, is sort of like a real, you could call it a gem, or you could call it the buried kidney. I don't know. Whatever. Dear Mr. Hoover, February 13th, 2/13/39. Dear Mr. Hoover, I've just run across a reference to a very interesting article on hypnotism. It is Journal of Abnormal and Social Psychology, 1939-34, 114 to 117. This article is by L.W. Rowland, as entitled, Will Hypnotized Subjects Try to Harm Themselves or Others?
Wow.
Program to Kill. This is,
What about-
here we go. We have the Program to Kill. This is a little,
Wow. And think about 764 too, that internet thing where the people use words to make innocent children harm themselves on camera, and like that, I mean, to harm themselves or others, like Program to Kill, what Hans was saying. Holy crap. And it's just with words and with programming, like all different levels of the spectrum. Like, holy, this mind control goes. Anyway, we'll keep going.
Where are you guys at? Where are we at?
So the next one. Dear Mr. Extra Books, thank you for your letter of February 24th, 1939. I have asked Mr. E.P. Coffey in the Bureau's laboratory to review the references you furnished from the Journal of Abnormal Psychology from January 1939. Indeed a pleasure to learn of your appointment as head of the Department of Psychology and as acting chairman of the School of Biological Sciences. Permit me to offer my congratulations. So that's from Hoover to Estabrooks. You want to just, I think this, okay, you want to read that? I'm on 255. I'll go ahead.
I'm on 255 too. Does anybody want to read that?
Go ahead, William. You want to read?
Okay. Colgate University, February 24th, 1939. Dear Mr. Hoover, I wish specifically to call to your attention that article by L.W. Rowland, quote, Will Hypnotized People Try to Harm Themselves or Others? In the January 1939 issue of the Journal of Abnormal and Social Psychology. It seems to me that this is the most significant contribution we have yet had along this line in the literature. To be quite frank with you, I would have predicted failure because the experiments did expose the people involved to a very definite danger. I am beginning to think that I have been altogether too conservative in my claims. I've just succeeded in interesting a new appointee to our faculty here, Mr. F.K. Berrien, instructor in psychology in this general topic. He is an excellent research man and will, I think, under my irritation, perhaps be able to carry on a good deal with the work which, unfortunately, my new duties rather render difficult. I've just been appointed head of the Department of Psychology and acting chairman of the School of Biological Sciences. Cordially yours, G.H. Estabrooks. So he's too conservative, right? So can't hypnotize people, harm themselves or others. He's too conservative. So the answer is yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. Stan Beck, news editor of the Vancouver Sun, writes of his belief of possibility of shadowing people mentally. He has conducted experiments and results convince him that this system would be invaluable adjunct in investigative work, sets forth the various cases on which he has experimented. RCL, I don't know.
Shadowing people mentally. This is So, okay, at least illusions. Let me not jump the gun, right? Because, of course, it's very easy to say, oh, so and so knows so and so, so they're a part of this. But we have, by committing harm to themselves or other, programmed to kill themselves, programmed to kill other people. Then we have mental shadowing. We have program alters. We have governance systems. We have programmed. So, anyways, to me, it seems pretty interesting.
So this is like the layover of this article by Beck, who's sending it to Mr. Hoover about hypnotism. Do you guys want to stop here? Do you want to cover this? This is 3 pages. We're at the 1 hour, 50-minute mark of recording.
Well, I have energy if you do. I can
That's
read.
fine with me. What do you want to do? What are you thinking, Hans?
I don't care, man. You guys are my leaders. I'll march into battle with you.
All right. Well, who wants to read this article then?
I'll wear my Viking codpiece without fear.
Sounds good.
Please don't. Okay. Anyway, so Vancouver Sun, this is page 2, I guess, from that page 2 and 3 from.
Well, it's not that clear. So what it is at 257 is the beginning of an article that somebody from the Vancouver Sun sent to Hoover. His name is Stan Beck, but there's an overlay of like one small piece of paper that I just read.
Right.
And he's saying that he's shadowing people mentally, and that I've conducted experiments. AV has conducted experiments. I don't know who that is yet, but it seemed to be that they're like they're doing hypnotism experiments, and he's trying to relate it to Hoover, and that's what this is about. So it's like a 4-piece thing. So whoever wants to read that, that's 257, right? Do you have the thing where it says Vancouver Sun on it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But it starts as awaken if he uttered an untruth. So like I'll go back up to get the beginning of that.
The one I have the one that says, may I suggest to you, lay this letter aside at leisure later. It deals with the phase of investigation so far untried by police departments. Okay,
I'll start there. All right. So, dear Mr. Hoover, may I suggest to you that lay this letter aside at leisure later. It deals with a phase of investigation so far untried by police departments. I prefer, therefore, you digest it when unharassed by routine duties. The fact that I am and have been for many years news editor of a newspaper of nearly 100,000 circulation should indicate that I am quite sane. I don't know if that's the barometer, but moving on. Yet I claim that it is possible, without leaving the room, to shadow a person, to retrace events that have transpired at distant places, and to draw confessions from the minds of people miles away without the confessors being aware that they are divulging secrets. This is like Men Who Stare at Goats type shit. Like they're gonna, okay. Periodically, in very limited time at my disposal, I have conducted experiments along these lines for the past 3 years. It is upon these actual experiments that I have reached the conclusion that the system I have devised, which I have labeled Mesmetrans, that's a good word, that's a great band name actually, can be perfected, or at least more fully developed, so as to be a valuable adjunct in investigation work. This letter, of course, is strictly personal. I am asking no favor. I am merely submitting in garbled text a result of my researches in the hope that it may assist the use of justice. I guess there's like a stamp over the letters, so it's hard to read. I hesitated to put these facts in writing until I heard today's NBC broadcast by district attorneys, after which I decided that if my experiments might assist your cause, it is my duty to reveal them. The method I have used is hypnotism, but after hypnotizing, it is necessary to lull the imagination of the subject into complete dormancy, so the facts that are produced so that facts only are produced. Under ordinary hypnotism, the subject may be told that there's a pink elephant in the room, and the subject will see the pink elephant. By blanking the imagination and other deterrent factors, the subject under hypnotism will DE something.
Deny. It's deny.
I see. Okay. Deny the existence of the pink elephant. Recently, having reduced one subject to this condition, I instructed him that he would immediately awaken if he uttered an untruth. I then deviously unveiled him into making a false statement that the subject immediately awakened. Here in brief are a few of many results I attained by this method. 1. Captain A. Russell locked myself and a subject, a boy of 19, in a hotel room. Captain Russell then circulated about for 15 minutes. Returning to the room, he was informed by my subject, who had followed him without leaving the room, of everything he had done, the only error being that the subject said, "You entered a building adjoining the hotel and talked to someone for about 2 minutes. I think it was a woman because she wore a white dress." The fact was that Captain Russell talked for 2 minutes to a bartender who wore a white coat and white apron. Had the boy been more developed in the work, he could have seen more clearly. Go ahead.
Chime in there real quick. I mean, more developed in the work. So
Right.
we see little things percolating in, right? We'll probably get further in the document. Program to kill. Now we have remote viewing, astral projection, whatever. So it's getting a little far out. And even though he and Clyde have matching loafers and they look really good on the beach together.
Yeah, them. Yeah. Okay. A young married woman in Vancouver stored her furniture and left the city to spend 2 months or more with her mother in a neighboring town 125 miles away. She had been gone 8 days when I was introduced to Captain Gerard, a former intelligence man in England. We discussed hypnotism and I put him to sleep. He had never heard of the young married woman and had never visited the town referred to. Under mesmerism, I sent him to this town. He located the address in a couple of minutes and accurately described this young lady, saying she was in a bedroom upstairs and disrobing before a mirror, part of a dressing table. I immediately assumed that this was telepathy and also assumed, as it was 7:45 p.m., that the lady was changing clothes to go to the theater, expecting such a reply. He's speculating a lot right there. But okay, expecting such a reply, I said to the subject, "Contact her mind. Ask her where she's going." After a short pause, the subject said somewhat snootily, "She says, I'm going back to Vancouver." As this answer seemed ridiculous, I awoke him. In 48 hours, the LA returned to Vancouver and told me that on the same night that I tried this experiment, and an hour before the time of the experiment, she quarreled with her mother, decided to return to Vancouver the next day, and went to bed, disrobing before the dressing table mirror. I asked a friend, James Amato, to go to North Vancouver, select an easily identifiable piece of bush at the junction of 2 roads. Amato was to be on the spot at 4 p.m., then return to Vancouver and visit a theater at 7 p.m., keeping his mind on the film in an effort to avoid telepathy. At 7:30 p.m., I hypnotized a subject, a young man, and sent him to the piece of bush referred to, giving him landmarkers to guide him. He reached the spot without, of course, leaving the room. I then said, "Go back to 4 o'clock this afternoon." He replied, "I am there. It is 4 o'clock." He then described Amato, said he dug a hole on the north side of a tree, giving type of tree and distance from road. He tore 3 strips of bark perpendicularly off another tree, giving type of tree, south side, etc. Tied a rag around the lower branch of another tree with details of tree. Buried a tin can, location of burial given, etc. He also draw a map. I later contacted Amada, who gave me a written statement of his actions. They tallied with the statement given by this subject, except that the rag was a handkerchief. A handkerchief with a map on it, right? Okay. Anyway, the subject also stated that the hole dug by Amato was filled with water. Amato said, okay. Shit. The hole dug, the motto said no water seeped into the hole when he dug it. We visited the spot and found it full of water and so forth. Discussing the subject with a member of parliament, he said, have you never been in my room? Here's the address. See if you can describe the interior of my house tomorrow. Next day, I gave him sufficient information that thoroughly convinced him, such as there are 3 watermarks on the ceiling of the front of the room. The Chesterfield runs diagonally toward the front window. The toilet upstairs is separate from the bathroom. There is also a toilet in the basement. There are 2 long strips of glass down the side of the inner front door. At 5 o'clock, your wife was in the kitchen preparing dinner, etc., etc. The subject I used for this test was a poor one. These are random results of many, but sufficient to indicate the possibilities if one had time to select proper subjects and time to develop them. I have not the time, sometimes letting 3 months elapse before I have an opportunity of renewing the experiments. However, if you are interested, I shall be glad to outline the process more fully or answer any questions. Yours faithfully, Stan Beck.
So this is it. This is like channeling. What's the thing where one guy goes into a trance and the other person asks him questions, right, and then they draw? I mean, what's the word for that? The modern word. Somebody in the chat knows. But like when you pay somebody to do it, like, and they're totally blind, right? They have no clue of anything.
This is like, I mean, have you ever heard of the jump room? Like Montauk, where they put kids in a chair and they would jump them to Mars. Their consciousness would
Yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
I wonder if that's related.
Channeling. It's like a trance or guides or something,
I like mesmer-trans, the word he came up with.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's like, I'm not insane. I
am totally sane, I promise. Yeah.
But, that's pretty wild. William, can I play a video? Is that possible?
You want to send it to me, or do you want to send me the link? What do you want to do?
It's like a YouTube thing. I think I can just share it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Can I see share screen?
Okay. Private chat, or you can put it up on the screen. I can try to put it.
Yeah, if you send him the link, he could.
Here we go. I got it. Okay. I got it. You ready? So, brand new recruitment video for everybody watching this, right? Because you're getting a 5-star course. So this is
the other media.
You got that?
Recruitment of the military?
Yes, PSYOP,
okay.
Psychological Operation Recruitment
man,
video.
here we go. Okay.
Can you see it? You got it up, William?
I do see it.
Here, should I hit play?
Yeah, let's see if the audio comes through. Yeah, I hear audio.
I hear it. Oh, I heard this on the radio. Look at that.
enemy.
There's another force applied in combat that we generally don't think of as a weapon of war. That weapon is words. Words are weapons.
Telling the truth is the only way in which to influence people.
This is psychological warfare.
Ghost Division logo.
Be a part of evil. Be evil with us. Wow. Dude.
I think the term I was trying to remember was remote viewing, right?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. So this is kind of like remote viewing. That'd be the modern term, I guess, for that.
Would you guys want to join the military after you saw that commercial?
Good question. Like, who are they trying to attract with that video? Like,
Right.
what person's like, that's for me. I want to be that guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're not trying to get people like, oh, stable background, wife, no drug problems. We don't want you. Have you been in and out of a mental facility? Come join psyops. No morals. Are you a moral leper?
Right. Are you a member of Levian Satanism?
Yeah, really. Do you think you're just an automaton blob that comes from some kind of like toxic soup from millions of years ago, and you're a lizard person? No, there's no meaning in anything.
Right.
You're in the greatest place on earth, in the Darwinian hellscape. Come and join freaking psychological 4th Brigade or whatever it is.
Yeah, help us teach people that there's too many people in the world and they want to kill themselves. Right.
Right.
Yeah. That's just what we need. That's the next level of warfare. That's the future. They used to show people jumping out of planes with parachutes, like, look what you can do. You can fly like a parachute. And but no, now it's like, now you can dominate people's minds with PSYOP. Join us and be a dominator. Like, gross.
Destroy their whole worldview, drive them crazy. It reminds me of that book, Saucer, Spooks, and Kooks, where like a military intelligence guy literally drove a dude into a mental institution. Like, I forgot the guy's name, but like, poor guy literally thought there were aliens at the base, and these guys knew they were just pulling his chain. He didn't know any better.
That's like gang stalking. You know about that, right? The gang stalking.
Yeah, gang stalking. It's real. Shit's real.
And the government,
this is, that whole, stuff. These are basically, you have trial runs, you have focus groups, you have certain individuals that are targeted. So this is where, it is incumbent, right, to start to understand these techniques and technologies. It doesn't, opposite a paranoid, as soon as you have, even though, Sean jokes with me. No, I literally completely eliminate all stress. I have no stress response, dude. Unless someone's about to kill me, which doesn't happen that often.
That's like adrenaline. That's different, I guess.
No. That was a program response. It is incumbent to understand what is happening to you. Drop your limited circumstantial focus. Oh, this person doesn't like me, blah, blah, blah. This happened, that happened. That keeps you busy. This is going on the news. This happened. No. Clear out and at least get a ground, because with this video, they're saying words are a weapon. Everything, one of the lines in that, everything we touch is a weapon, right? This is the reason I want to share that. It's like a big reveal, like, well, the whole culture is a weapon.
Right. Yeah.
Except for Britney Spears.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
Yeah. She's totally organic, man.
When she dances with knives, that's the real, I can tell that she's really real.
Yeah.
Maybe she got 6 fingers of the AI. But anyway, yeah. So this guy can make people that are unaware of what they're doing, like, this is like while they're under hypnosis, they're doing these things. So, like, it doesn't even have to be you moving your soul over to that place and viewing. It's you can make others do it through suggestion. I mean, think about that. If that's possible, what could be done with that? And if it's like, I mean, he's got proven, like, the guy wrapped a rag around the tree and he pulled the bark like that or whatever. I mean, how how can you replicate that? How can you, like, how can you fake that? That is really interesting. I mean, but I guess it's just this guy's word, like, what I mean, I didn't see it, but still, like, I have heard many stories of super soldier children that, like, well, that they grow up as to be super soldiers, but they're abused as children with the SRA methods. And um that I've heard many stories of these going to other places, like other planets and other, like, consciousness realms, and they're doing warfare there. Like, there's, I don't know, this next level type stuff that you can go branch off from here and see into the, like, real woo woo crazy stuff. It seems crazy, but, like, I mean, is it really possible? Are our brains that capable of doing that? I mean, it's amazing what our brains will do in response to torture and, like, suggestion and all that. Like, it's amazing. Like, maybe Yuval Harari was right. We are hackable. Like, and to do amazing things, like, holy, I can't astral project, but somebody else can make me do that. Like, what? That's very scary,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Guys, I think I got to wrap it up.
Yeah,
We're
right.
at the 2 hour, 11-minute mark. 200 live listeners. Thanks for everybody for checking in, being with us on this journey. We are learning as we go as well. So hopefully you're getting some takeaways, but it just shows, like, you got to move the goalposts back farther in time, into the 30s that these guys knew stuff. And even, like, Esther Brooks is mentioning stuff from, like, and you'll see this later, France and Germany and other people and Mesmer and all this stuff. So it goes all the way back. And I found some other interesting stuff outside of the kind of context of this document, but, like, a lot of these people, politicians and stuff, they know this stuff. They really do. So just like it kind of just to emphasize the themes like Hans and Sean are talking about, like, this stuff is being applied. And we saw that right at the beginning with that Tony Robbins guy using those techniques on Jack Black. So the stuff really is out there. And I mean, how many people has Tony Robbins reached? Millions, probably. Right?
I feel great.
So he's an evangelist for all that stuff, for all this kind of hypnosis, deep trance, whatever it is.
Again, and one thing, in a personal note, my brother, who's now dead, my younger brother, but he was like, if me doing the Tony Robbins thing with him, like, gave him like a new lease on life. So we did the whole 30-day course. It's got some positive aspects, but the NLP stuff, it is on a surface level of consciousness for me. All their techniques, right? I was like, A, I'm not good at visualizing, but B, there's something, like, it's not really connecting. You know what I mean? And now, after connecting with this and seeing Erickson's modeling, right? So, once you break a toy, once you break the family dynamic in certain ways, right? Then you have algorithmically predictable behavior patterns for groupings. And you can do aggregate groupings over the population and target people with different types of vectors, right? Scattershot. But you still get, a conglomerate aggregate effect of all of these things. This is the goal. Okay, so immediately you have the withdrawal as opposed to the functional family, which means the arising of man in nature, within the aspects of creation, you create all these different problems. And how many people I know, oh, my mother did this to me, they did that to me. You get hung up on these things. Drop it. Don't waste your time. There's no time to waste. Don't waste time. You have to find out what is actually operational, really clear as best you can. Your nervous system, get accurate information from your nervous system, from the external environment, be able to distinguish internal, external, projective, what you're seeing, what you're not seeing. Many people are literally living in a hypnotic trance of multiple overlaid cartoons and films and stuff like that. In reality, you know what I mean? I'm saying that this is the regrettable, unfortunate matrices, but yet we are on the point of the wave where it hasn't crashed. And just one last thing I'll say, can you guys think that, AI, how's AI going to run a total surveillance grid and CBDC? When it can't, the Washington Post thing came out today, right? Washington Post, they have this podcast. It's just inventing stories for people, just making shit up.
They were doing that in law. They like lawyers were using AI, and it was making up precedents that was just made up. Dude, and they were going with it. That people weren't checking. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. It makes real effect in the world if it's lawyers and judges too.
ChatGPT made up fake citations for me, like fake information and fake citations, that I realized that ChatGPT was lying to me. I was like, oh, wow, this is even darker than I thought. You're not even an honest purveyor of facts. Wow.
Yeah, dude, the next world, the simulacrum, it doesn't match the simulation.
Yeah, imagine you're going to get AI of different characters. You're going to get just like, whatever, that dumb scheduling thing I used to
the
have.
email lady.
Yeah, you're going to get the old
God.
man.
I almost had an affair with your scheduling lady. I was like, I told my wife, she likes me. Nicole, I don't care if you're scolding me. I have somebody, and then it turns out it's Williams AI. He was really.
She didn't work, man. I fired her. She sucked.
Didn't work. I said shit.
She kept going to old emails that I sent and then resent those. Like, you're not
she became very irritating.
Maybe that's the whole thing, to get everybody to trust the AI, and then everything that the AI is going to throw at us is lies, and it's going to there is no more truth.
Didn't Google do that? Isn't Google search kind of like what it did? Like, oh, I trust this. And then you got 10 links of all of the people who are paying them money.
Yeah, that's just like Walmart. We all trusted Walmart to get us good prices, and then you go to a Walmart and see the prices, compared to everything else, it's more. And
food is fake. It's terrible. It's toxic. It's a bioweapons facility, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Bioweapons
Dude, my eyes get dry when I go in there. I'm always blinking and shit. What do they got on the air?
Frequency stuff. Fragrance stuff. You get through this, you see, and also. There's a particular demographic going to Walmart.
Yeah,
there's chemical agents,
right?
No,
so they're attacking the criminals. They go to Walmart.
Again, not to make people paranoid, because that's the absolute. Once you get paranoid, once you have,
then you're in the loop of fear.
You're in a loop. There's nothing to fear. But
I thought total paranoia is total awareness. Isn't that what Manson said?
There's nothing to fear, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Manson's clear though. He's clear.
He's totally clear. He doesn't.
I'm running for president, man.
He knows how to hypnotize people. You want to talk about hypnotists? He was using heavy duty stuff on those girls too. Like, give me all your pain, and I'm now your daddy. Like, he would literally tell them, "I'm standing in for your father now." That's why they were so beholden to him. He knew the techniques, man. He knew it.
And especially
those were all abandoned people from their dads, like they were runaways and stuff. So he's like, I know the key. I know how to manipulate these women.
Well, so Manson, he went through this whole state system. We have all these connections with Manson.
Boys Town.
And then you look at the thing we brought up of him putting people on LSD trips.
And it was a heroin. It was
heroin through
he
hypnotism.
was puking from the heroin because of heroin.
Danny Trejo.
Right. It was a physical reaction to the mental stimulation of the auditory, that just from the other side of the wall. Hey, you're high on heroin, and then they go puke. Like, whoa.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff. Anyway, you guys want to?
Were you going to say
What are
something?
your
Hans?
shows? Or, I don't
I-
know. Did Hans say?
One last thing is that I was watching some garbage or other, right? Try to watch Netflix, dude. I feel every time I watch Netflix, I'm getting another lobotomy. Like, it's so, like, in films, most films are so crappy now, man. I was doing
Yeah.
film stuff a while back. It's like, I cannot believe okay, just two footnotes on this to end the show. But one thing is that what I've noticed in multiple shows that most of I stop or series, they have this flashback stuff, but you don't know if it's past or present. They keep, they keep merging the ab reactions. When I did a screenwriting class, flashbacks used occasionally. Now you see all these huge series where they're walking in the present, then they're in the past again. Then the present, past, then the kid. As we go further, regression hypnosis, right? You go back to age 5, you're still age 5. So this is regressive hypnotherapy. A lot of these techniques, right, being utilized, again, late stage of the game for people that haven't stepped out of this or even haven't got the breath of fresh air from their prison cells. You know what I mean? I'm on my 15th vax. I feel great.
Keep going.
I've never been healthier.
I just give me another one. Give me another one. I want more.
Yeah.
Any shot. You got a shot.
They're
for
not
like-
gonna. They're not gonna give
You
the
gotta-
B shot to babies anymore.
You
Oh,
got a
no.
shot for
It's like
Haitian
McMurphy.
diphtheria. I'm never
McMurphy
going to
and-
Haiti, but give it to me.
Yeah, McMurphy and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Just give me some more ECT, baby. I can take as much as you handle. And then they go us in for the final lobotomy. Anyway.
But so the other thing I want to mention is that a lot of these ads, right? So even Netflix, like these you pay for it, which I regret doing it. But the ads, every ad, okay, was from Google AI and law student. I have to do a legal brief. Oh, Google did it for me. I'm an architecture student. Oh, hold the phone up. It'll do analysis of the building.
Wow.
Oh, I have to write a report. I have to understand this medical procedure. Oh, Google AI. Google AI. And series of ads over, multiple hours. Every answer is being provided by the AI. So why are you going to school, dude? But when you see the fact that it's generating false realities. I had a grant. I had all my texts. I said, please edit the text for my grant. It invented this amazing project I did with a mural involving 350 school children with photographs.
Oh man.
And it was like, I
total
really
lie.
wish I did it. But if you walk to the street, there's no mural there. And I never did it. It was completely invented. It looked totally real. If I hadn't, I just wanted a grammar check if I just submitted it. But it is a Ouroboros. It's a self-feeding loop. It is the ultimate cybernetic loop, and it is not intelligent. Okay?
Right.
And it is, I don't even know what it is, but it's an Ouroboros.
That's a very good image of and think about how it would undermine everything. Like the whole structure of our everything, like building bridges and like building airplanes and, everything. People have to have knowledge and use their mind. And if the computer is just going to intercept all that intelligent information that's like necessary for functioning of human life on this planet, that's kind of that's a danger. I think it's pretty dangerous. Why would somebody who's like has like they're given accreditation like by their peers and they're like given all this responsibility and then they just shove that responsibility off onto like, oh, AI will do it, like just because I'm lazy. Like everybody's lazy. Everybody can just tap into that laziness, like just click here, the easy button, like remember that from the commercial. Like it's really scary. I'm afraid of the future.
We're going into a new age, guys. We're literally going from like the Stone Age to the Bronze Age or something. Or Bronze Age to the Iron Age. It's going to be that incredible.
We're the warriors going to carry. We're creating Noah's Ark of cognitive knowledge and emancipation, breaking the hypnotic programming of the power elite.
Amen.
This series will change your life.
That's the best way to finish it. Let's
Please
just end it on that.
subscribe.
Like and share.
Resident State.
Like and share.
Ending the
share.
stream.
Right.
Stream's ending. Thanks everybody for listening.